This is an example of a quadratic that can be solved by factoring using the zero product property. It states that if a product of two numbers or more is set equivalent to 0, then at least one of them has to be 0. And we're going to leverage that to solve this quadratic equation. So we see that we have 2n squared minus 11n plus 12 is equivalent to 0. If this is going to be factorable, it's going to factor into two binomials. The only way to get 2n squared is by having 2n times n in the first location of each binomial. But 12, to find out what times what equals 12, we have a few choices. So 12 could be 1 times 12, it could be 2 times 6, it could be 3 times 4. And then we're done because the next factor pair is 4 times 3, and we're on our way back. So we have three options to choose from. I'm going to start with 3 and 4 to see if we can hit on it right away. So I'm just going to put in a 3 here and a 4 here and check the inside-outside sum in the FOIL process, right? So first times first plus outside times outside plus inside times inside plus last times last. And these two middle terms sum together. So we get a sum of those products. 2n times n is going to give us the 2n squared, but then 2 times 4 is 8, so we have an 8n there. 3 times n is 3n, so we have a 3n there. And then 3 times 4 at the end is 12. So now we just want to see, can we get a positive 12 and a negative 11 out of 8 and 3? And we see that we can, as long as they're both negative. So we put a negative here, and we put a negative here. And that'll give us our 2n squared. We'll have negative 8n. We'll have negative 3n. And then negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Once we combine the middle terms, we see that we will have recovered 2n squared minus 11n plus 12 equals 0. So we know that our factorization is correct, and we can take this piece down. So we know we have an equivalent factorization of our original polynomial. 2n squared minus 11n plus 12 is equivalent to 2n minus 3 times n minus 4. And once we see that that is given to us as set equal to 0, then to solve it, the only way that that can happen is if 2n minus 3 equals 0 and n minus 4 equals 0. So we see that 2n equals positive 3 and n equals 3 halves. And n equals positive 4. So these are our two solutions to the equation, the quadratic equation, 2n squared minus 11n plus 12 equals 0.